Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video I continue to build the Eaglemoss James Bond Aston Martin DB5. I am on issue 16. Now in issue 16 I'll be building stage 60. Now with stage 60 we actually start putting together the bulletproof screen on the trunk. And I think I was pretty successful with it. This is it right here, completed. And I like the way it works, the way it stays down. I like the sleekness of it, aerodynamics of it. And for me, it's no big deal. I can simply take the trunk, pop it open, and to actuate it open, I'm just going to give it a nudge with my screwdriver, and it pops open just fine. Okay, no issues at all. It is springy, as you can see, but with the lock mechanism, if you pay attention to how I installed the lock latch mechanism, it will stay down for you when you push it down. Okay, and that's what I want it to do. I want it to stay down. I don't want it to break or anything like that. So there's really not much more you need to do with this if you follow my instructions. So pay attention to what I did, and you shouldn't have any problems with your trunk lid. So let's get started.
Bond. James Bond.
Welcome back. Let's look at the instructions for stage 60. In stage 60 we assemble the bulletproof screen trigger, and that is the first part here, part 60A, and then we continue on with the assembly onto the bonnet or the trunk lid. We're using A-type screws for that. So let me get the parts out and I will be right back. And here's the parts pack for stage 60. Everything is protected inside the bag. Let me pull these parts out and we will get a closer look. Here's a close-up of the parts. We received the trunk lid hinge. That's pretty heavy duty, made out of metal. And the bulletproof screen trigger, and that's also made out of metal. Looks like a bent wire there, chrome plated. Let's get started. We're going to need to gather a few parts before we start assembling this issue. We're going to need the bulletproof housing from issue 58-59. We're going to need the boot or the bonnet, the trunk lid. And we're going to need the bulletproof shield itself. Remember, it came in a previous issue like this with your grille and a couple of the Aston Martin emblems. So they want us to put the trigger in, that bent piece of rod, and they want to have the short end up against the bulletproof screen to lock it in, and the long end goes into the housing. So I'll put it into the long end into the housing first. That will slide all the way around and make sure it's facing north or up, just like that. Okay, so the long end went into the housing and the short end is facing up. You can kind of see it in there. Now we'll put our bulletproof screen in on top of the springs. Make sure we go straight down with it. There we go. And and that holds it in place just like that. You can see how it's holding it there. Okay, we don't want to release it until we have it installed. Okay, so the clue to this, to make it easy, is put the spring in first. Make sure the long end goes through the housing. The short end is going to engage on the metal bulletproof screen. Insert the screen, and it should find its way onto the latch mechanism. It's locked in. Now we want to install it on the trunk. Now we need to retrieve A-screws for this part. None came with the issue, so if you've been saving your screws all along, you're good to go. So I bought this little holder for my screws off of Amazon, and you can find a link to my Amazon store in the description below. So we need 2 A-type screws. Alright, now we're continuing on here. We're going to get our bonnet, our trunk lid. We're going to flip it over. I don't want to scratch it. So I'm going to lay a towel down on this, and we're going to take our bulletproof screen, we're going to line it up to where it needs to go, just like that. And before I screw it down, I'm going to put some Vaseline on it. And I'll put it back down on top of it again. Just like that. Put our A-type screws in. And you got to make sure it's pushed down all the way into the detent and to where your shield is actually up against it, like it's supposed to be. And we're going to tighten it down as tight as we can get it. It needs to be as secured as tight as it can be. That looks really good, actually. Looks great. Looks good. Everything is secure and tight. Those 2 screws are very tight there. Spring is still holding the bulletproof screen down. Now we install our trunk lid hinge, and like I was saying, this is made out of metal, and we're going to be screwing it into metal. Once again, we need to retrieve our A-type screws. We need 2 of them. And before we do that, I'm going to put it on a cloth so we don't scratch up anything. And lubricate those holes. Just like that. And we'll go ahead and insert this down on top. Make sure it's secure on there. It is. Put in our two 8-type screws. And that's tight there. There you go. Got our hinge assembly on there. Everything is secure. So the instructions say to make sure everything is tight and secure underneath with this. So I was looking, and these screws don't do anything. They don't tell us to do anything with them. I'm going to go ahead and add some super glue to these areas and clamp it down so it's nice and tight. My super glue of choice is Gorilla Glue super glue gel, and I'm going to use my glue looper to do that. And take and tighten it down. And I'll apply a little more here. Just so we have a good bead. And I'm going to spray some kicker on this. Super glue accelerator. And let it dry. And that's all we do for stage 60. This was a blast putting together. I had a great time doing it. You can see how the shield just kind of sits in the slot pretty nicely there. Everything is secure underneath. I did super glue this to help it along a little bit here, so nothing separates. So let's give this a test here. We'll push down on it, right? And the key to this is you want to take a screwdriver and push on these bits here to help raise it. And you can see it raised up just like that. And then it will simply just slide back down and lock back in place. Okay, so I'd say that's a success. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for all notifications. And while you're at it, head over to Eaglemoss and subscribe to this car today. It's fantastic. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take care.